Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Harry from Hotspur TV, and today we're going to talk about in captaincy choice. I'm going to speak a little bit about the game today because unfortunately this will air on a match day in the morning at 9 a.m. So I will talk a little about the Brentford game because it is Ange's first game, but there'll be a video out tomorrow being in detail about how the first game actually went and how obviously that plays into fixing the club because it is. People would argue like a new era under Ange. So we'll talk about that in another video. But let's get on to this video. So in the end, the club through, and I'm going to be brutal with this, player choice picks Son because if you read reports, Son was made captain due to the players unanimously picking Son. Now, I mean, a lot of people thought on paper that would be the choice. A lot of fans thought the same. A lot of fans thought it would be Dyer because Dyer was part of the leadership committee. But I don't know if you guys know, and I'm sure this is spoken about on other channels. Dyer unfollowed Spurs on Instagram. He took a lot of the Spurs stuff off of his page and stuff, and maybe that's to do with the fact that they chose Son over him. If you think about it now, maybe that was a choice. And just right off the bat, I didn't want Dyer as captain. But to me, I don't know. If you look at the past few seasons, letting the players pick the captain is a bit farcical, in my opinion. And I don't. And Son himself, even though he's a nice guy, I'm sure he's a lovely guy. You meet in person as well, not just the players. And he has been like a loyal player because he signed a new contract under Nuno, which, to his credit, Kane didn't, but Son did. So to his credit, he's stuck with the club even through like the worst times, as people like to say, right? And that's not why I'm against him being a captain. It's, to me, when I look at Son, number one, there's question marks for me of whether he'll be starting games because you have Richarlison there. So is he going to play Son on the left or play him in the middle? Or are they going to change? Is it going to be a more fluid front three? Because Kulusevski is probably going to play on the right, most likely tomorrow. Today. So number one, the question mark is Son going to start? Okay, he won't start all the games. Is he going to start the majority of the games? If he plays as a striker at the beginning, yes, but then if he's not performing, you're not going to be able to drop him if he's the captain. It's like with Lloris. For years and years, we had him as a club captain, and then we couldn't drop him because he was a club captain, even though I would have given even players like Gazaniga more of a run in this team. And then the second choice was Maddison, which he was given the vices now I'm going to talk about a bit, but Madison was given one of them, and I think that's the one choice I agree with. The other one was Romero. Now, I do not approve this one at all. I think Romero, even as a vice captain, is just catastrophic. I think he's a loose cannon. He's the one to me which is, it could go either way. Romero could either warm up to the position and actually calm down because he knows he's like the captain. But also it's bad because, again, like with Son, Romero is probably going to start majority of the games as centre-half with Van de Ven. That's what it looks like if Romero is indeed the vice-captain, which he is. And in my opinion, I think Van de Ven needs a more experienced centre-half to learn off of coming into England. I know Romero's had a couple of years, but I don't like the whole young partnership. And yes, maybe over the few years they'll become a partnership, but Jan and Toby are very, I'm not saying we got lucky with it, but they had so many years playing together before they even came to Tottenham that it was always going to work out. It was like a 1% chance it was going to work out. But Romero, from a very different league in Serie A, obviously he's playing in England and he's not the calmest player. And you've got Van de Ven, who's come from Wolfsburg. And the German league, it's not the same. I know Kane's gone there, but it's not the same sort of level as England in terms of competitiveness. Van de Ven might take a while to settle, and settling with Romero is not for me the best choice. I still think Spurs need to go out and sign another centre half, a more experienced centre half, on top of all these signings. As much as people want Tapsoba, and I would not take Tapsoba, but someone with experience like a Dunk or Tarkowski, someone like that, to play alongside Van de Ven or Romero, so it's like those two can rotate, and maybe in lesser games Van de Ven can play with Romero, but the club don't think that way. They just sign young players. So Romero is a choice for me. I don't like it. he'd easily get sent off, and he doesn't perform with any confidence. But like I said, he's one where it could go, I think, either way. I'm less inclined with Son because I just think Son. There's even rumours he might go Saudi Arabia next year, and people haven't really thought of that. So my choice is, because obviously there's a couple more minutes I'm going to do this video, would have been Oliver Skipp, because I would make Oliver Skipp, as crazy as it sounds, club captain, because Mourinho even spoke a few years, 2 years ago, saying Skipp is the future captain of Tottenham Hotspur. So to me, you might as well just give it to him now. And Skipp, at least he's a Tottenham boy. He wants to prove a point, obviously, Ange. He's obviously, I think, he's our best holding midfielder because Højbjerg, I don't think Ange really likes him that much. There's rumoured that Højbjerg might be on his way out, which is ironic because I think Højbjerg is probably being a better choice than Son. And Bentancur, of course. Bentancur was our best player last season. When he comes back, he's just going to walk into the team, regardless of who's there, I think. So Bentancur again is a better choice, but due to his injury, I would have made him like a vice. I would have gone. This is what I would have gone. I would have gone Skipp main captain. Like generally, I would have made Skipp club captain. Then I've gone Maddison vice because at least the guy's going to play a lot. And he was captain at Leicester as well. So and then you have Bentancur as number 3. And okay, that might be your 3 as the midfield 3 in a lot of games, but I don't think every game it will be those 3. It is possible, but if they all fit, but just they all play in the middle of the park. With Son, like I said again, he's a striker as well, or he's a forward player. And I know Kane obviously was the previous captain before he left, but Kane, like again, I relate this to Skipp. He was a Tottenham boy. To me, he leads by example. I just think Son, in this system, he might play as just a poacher, but I just don't think. Okay, you look at for me, these are proper captains. You look at proper captains like Roy Keane back in the 90s and 2000s. Son does not have any of those qualities he has. And yes, he might smile a lot. The players might love him. But the proper captains, I think, are players that will bring some of these players who, by the way, have been underperforming for the past 2 or 3 years. Some people say underperforming, I think none of them are good enough. Bring them into the change room at halftime and give them like a hair dry treatment, as people like to say. Can you see Son doing that? No, if you guys don't remember the documentary, Lloris had a go at Son for not running back. And obviously we didn't think Lloris was even like a massive leader. But did you see Son be very vocal? No, Kane was another, again, hence why he was a captaincy before. He was quite vocal. And I look at Son, I don't see leadership qualities. Maybe we'll see him galvanise the players today. But I just think like they picked the next most popular player, hence why the players picked him as well. And they said, "Oh, let's give it to Son." I just think letting the players who've underperformed for this long, or in my case, I think they're just rubbish. A lot of them pick the captain is the worst thing to do. I think Ange should have picked someone who he felt that would be like a mainstay in the long run at Spurs. Bearing in mind Son's age, he could be on his way out in a couple of years. Someone who was maybe a Tottenham boy, like I mentioned with Skipp. So that's why we're giving to Oliver Skipp. So those are my thoughts on captaincy. As for the game today, as a consequence of this, and Kane leaving, I'm not very confident against Brentford. I'm predicting us to lose 3-1. Sorry to end the video this way, but I just don't see us getting anything. I think even without Tony, Brentford have a very solid team. The 5-3-2/3-5-2, where they'll be interchanging, is going to be a massive problem for us. And I just don't think we're going to cope. And coming off of psychologically coming off of what happened with Kane, I think the players are going to need a lot of encouragement to pick up from this. So I don't know, and I don't know. I'm scared of Romero as well already. Like I mentioned in the video about other things, but it's going to be a very tough game to get against Brentford. And I hope Spurs win. So come on, you Spurs, but I'm not hopeful. And like I said, video tomorrow will be a review of the actual game in some sort of sense. So Monday morning, because this will come out Sunday morning, so Monday morning will be some sort of review of the game, about Ange's first game, what I thought about the new style, that sort of things. But yeah, well, after the captaincy, I don't approve, apart from Maddison. Romero could go either way. Son, I don't see how he's the captain. To me, it's just a popularity pick. So yeah, Harry and Hotspur out.